Good evening, cows. How are you doing, number 21? So it is a beautiful and fantastic sunset. It's about 5 o'clock in the evening here, Saturday, December 17th, 2022. In about 5 days, 5 or 6 days, 3, 4, 4 or 5 days, we're going to hit winter solstice, which for us who live in the northern hemisphere is the shortest day of the year. It officially marks the beginning of winter. It is about 54 degrees right now. It was cold this morning. We've had a cold wind blowing from the north. Right now there's no wind or barely any wind at all. Let me just kind of walk you through. This is Saturday evenings, Sunday mornings, and Sunday evenings pasture. I just gave the rest to them. I gave them some feed as well. I didn't feed them yesterday. Wasn't able to get out here to feed them. I had to send my daughter out to move him by herself, and I didn't want her feeding him. Oh shoot, I need another fence post. Sometimes we come up short on the fence posts, either because I can't count or I can't measure distance. So let me put a fence post there. Anyway, we have some pretty decent grass here. The middle of the pasture wasn't too good. The end of the pasture, the end of the row is pretty good. And they'll get the trees to take cover in, even if it is only psychological for the cows. When I was feeding them today, they got a little pushy. One of the cows, I think number 20, decided that rubbing against me was a good idea. Blue and red decided that their horns were tools to extract more food from me quicker. And some of the other cows too decided that opening the bucket of feed to pour in the trough is the perfect time to stick their faces into the bucket of feed to prevent me from putting it into the trough. I'll be honest, I'm not comfortable feeding the cows. I don't plan on doing this long term. This is a temporary stopgap. I do plan on getting hay next year. Probably a little more hay than I'll need. And I do plan on feeding them hay at the end of summer when there's not a lot of grass left, if it's dry, and in the end of fall and early winter. Excuse me. There's a lot of dead grass here. That's the panic. 5, 6, 7. I can't count. I can't count and talk at the same time, so. It was some of the panic liver seed grass that was a surprise gift in the summer. If it is indeed panic liver seed grass, which it seemed to match almost perfectly, then it's from South Africa and is a grass that's well adapted to dry, hot temperatures. And so it decided that it wanted to sprout and grow this last part of the summer. And it was kind of a stopgap to help the cows through till autumn. Right now, I would guess, I can't really tell what kind of grass this is. There's a very low chance that it's fescue. The reason why I say that is because fescue does not do well in my climate. Look at this grass, look how thick that is. Fescue doesn't do well in my climate. Fescue dies off if it gets too hot. And fescue prefers to go dormant in the summer rather than die. So this is likely ryegrass. The ryegrass will die at the end of spring in the early summer and shed its seeds. The seeds will stay on the ground and they'll sprout in late fall, early fall sometimes, depending on the conditions. And they'll go dormant in the winter. And then when spring comes, assuming that conditions are proper, the ryegrass will grow rapidly in the spring. So this is, right now, this grass is just setting up its root system. And I believe that if you mow it in the autumn, and I have no scientific evidence for this other than my gut instinct, if you have the cows come through, mow it, and disturb it in the autumn, it'll have a better spring. We'll see how my ryegrass does. There's a neighbor not too far from me that I drive by every time I come to the field. He hays his field. He has an awesome fence, but he hays his field. And he was able to get a cutting in the early autumn, mid-autumn. So he was able to get 2 cuttings of hay. The second cutting wasn't that great. I'm told that if conditions are okay, you can get 5 cuttings of hay in a year. If they're just average, you can get 3 cuttings. So the drought was pretty bad for us, in that people were only able to get 2 cuttings, and the second one wasn't that great. Anyway, the first cutting is the best one. That's the one that people, cattle guys, like to get. If you can get the first cutting, and it's harvested at the right, oh my goodness, if it's harvested at the right time, that's the best optimum for the cows. I think that's because the ryegrass is preferable to the summer grasses, and if you're feeding your cows ryegrass hay at the end of summer, when the lawn starts to get a little short, that's when the ryegrass really pays off. Anyway, so this is a common story here in the woods. The trees grow fast, they come down fast too. And we had a wire here, I want to say about 3 months ago. And the branch broke and was on the wire. And it was causing a little short, lowering the power of the wire. I need to check the power of the wire, I haven't checked it recently. And so I had to cut it. And so I just get these spare branches lying all over the place, and moving them's a chore, cutting them's a chore. I just let the ground claim them. They're gonna, this stuff will rot. In the course of a couple of years, it'll be gone. The branches will start disappearing, I think, over the winter. But yeah, the ground is littered with branches. They're hard to see, but there's just all sorts of branches in various states of decomposition. So that's what happens in the woods in this climate. All right, it's fantastic grass here, beautiful grass. I don't know how long this will last, but I imagine I'll come here Sunday afternoon, it'll all be gone, or most of it at least. Plus the combination of the old liver seed panic grass, that brown stuff over there. This is probably ideal grazing conditions for them. So hopefully they'll be pretty happy come tomorrow. They'll all be full. They'll be fat as a cow. Right, Mr. Calf? All right. I'll be signing off here, guys. Have a great evening. You too, cows. Enjoy your food. Silence is the best. Silence is the best review. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.